Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Herb's Comic Book Journey. This week we dive back into the Marvel comic group, talking about the Volume 2 of Captain America, Winter Soldier. And on this one, as we last left off, there was a huge bomb that took place in the middle of Philly. An assassin had took out the Red Skull. And it looks like Captain America has been manipulated throughout the whole entire time. We're trying to figure out what the hell is going on. It's possible that the Winter Soldier, who is this assassin, can possibly be Bucky Barnes. We don't know yet. We're about to find out and dig deep into this. So, like I said, after we just found out that there was a big explosion that happened in the middle of Philadelphia, we go and see that Cap is just going down to ground zero, finding any survivors through there. He sees some kids. He sees some people who are adults who are still alive. He starts saving them. And then all of a sudden, you just see that there are aid lackeys who are going around just trying to take out every single person who's still alive. And as the aid lackeys who are picking up all this extra information that's on the ground and killing every single person, Captain America sweeps in and starts kicking all their asses to the point to where they have to call the MODOK squad. Now, we're going to put down what MODOK stands for right here. And as Captain America is kicking the MODOK's ass in the midst of all of this, he just sees in the background the Winter Soldier. And he's sitting there like, "Are you Bucky?" The Winter Soldier looks at him like, "Who the hell is Bucky?" And in the midst of this happening, a huge building happens to fall down, literally in the midst of in between both of them. And before Captain could go over there and see if he's still there, Winter Soldier's gone. He's sitting there just taking in every single thing that just happened. The very next day, they go into have a briefing with Sharon Carter. He has a briefing with Sharon Carter, Agent 13, and Nick Fury. And then all of a sudden, they sit there and talk about some more information on the Winter Soldier. They find out that he is an assassin operative for the KGB during the Cold War from 1955 to 1977. And as we find out more information, he also has facial recognition from different cameras during the Cold War when allies have been taken out mysteriously. And every single one of them that have been taken out, it just so happens that he's there at that same exact time. They called him the Winter Soldier basically because he looks like an American and he could just walk in behind enemy lines and then he can gather up all the information that he needs to, only to go back with the information and then go get frozen for another 5 years just to hide back out. So in the midst of finding out all this information, Cap gets pissed off to the point where he just smashes this TV that has all the surveillance of it. And he asks Nick, like, "Look, what's the plan?" So Nick tells him the plan is to go after General Lukin throughout this whole entire situation so we can go and take him out because he is the ringleader after all. So as Cap gets this information, he goes ahead and say, "Okay, let's go ahead and do this." But Nick Fury says, "Hey, we got to hurry up because he does have the Cosmic Cube and we need to take this shit out ASAP." So as they get ready to go ahead and prepare for this mission, Nick Fury comes over and pulls Agent 13, Sharon Carter, to the sides and say, "Hey, Neil Tapper was at ground zero of the explosion, and I want to let you know that he passed away the night prior." So she's kind of in her feelings about that. So after finding out all this devastating information with Neil Tapper, Fury, Agent Carter, and Captain America get into a SHIELD helicopter to Mongolia to go and find Alexander Lukin. And they doing this pretty much without the knowledge of the U.S. government knowing, because they think that it's Jack Monroe who took out that whole entire situation. But they really think that, hey, let's go after Alexander Lukin because he has the Cosmic Cube and can take all of this shit out. So they go down and fly into China where Lukin was originally set to be at. And they go through just wreck and shop throughout the whole entire area where he's at. So in the midst of them bursting in, Captain America runs up to Luke and says, "Where the hell is he?" And he's basically looking at him like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Playing dumb. And all of a sudden, there's a person in here who works for the White House who says to him, stop what you're doing." He is a friend of the U.S. who is working out a deal with the Cronus Corp to build a pipeline for Matterport. And you're basically attacking a sovereign nation. So Fury tells Cap, "Look, we got to stand down," and they back off. So pretty much afterwards, they're going back into the helicopter. They're pissed off, and basically Steve Rogers is saying like, "Damn, he's got diplomatic immunity. He's got the cosmic cube. This motherfucker's pretty much untouchable." So as Steve gets home, he sees this file sitting on his table, and it says on there, it's labeled "Winter Soldier Confidential Files." So as he goes in and takes a deep dive to go and look at it. So as he goes in and looks inside the folder, he finds out that Bucky Barnes is indeed the Winter Soldier. And he finds out eventually what took place to become this person that he is today. So the files basically says that, hey, he actually did die at the English Channel. Only thing is, they found him frozen with his arm off, and they brought him back to life. But when they brought him back to life, he was violently resistant. Then they eventually had to brainwash him to eliminate all his past, his memories, and everything. Kind of fucked up when you think about it, but I mean, he's kind of volatile at this point. So what more can you really do? So after they started brainwashing him, they eventually started training him, gave him a bionic arm, and start setting him out to go on these missions. But little did they know that they also said that he started getting some of his memory back little by little. And it wasn't from the brainwashing. He was just starting to remember most of the information that he just was like, "Look, I remember this, I remember that, I remember this, I remember that." So eventually they would have to keep on putting him on ice, freezing him in a cryogenic state, and have to keep brainwashing him because he had mental lapses eventually throughout the whole entire process. Kind of just shitty what he's going through, man. I mean, you kind of just sitting there like, damn, this guy can't even just die and just go ahead and just be done with this. Because, I mean, these are some fucking savages who are just doing this to this guy. But in the midst of all this, you kind of find out that, damn, he was in this cryogenic state and everything, and he was forgot about in Karpov's storage unit that had all the stuff from the actual beginning. Like I said in the prior video, where the Red Skull saw that there was this person just sitting inside the actual chamber. See, yeah, it's all coming together, 360. So pretty much after finding out this information in that folder, Cap is just sitting there like, shit, like this is really like devastating. And he's like, look, I gotta go and find my friend. What is it that we have to do to go ahead and get this situated? So in the midst of all this, let's go to New York City, where Alexander Lukin is having a big, huge conference or meeting with these big CEOs up there, and says to him, hey, I have this cosmic cube, and it's pretty much going on sale for $1 billion. So after he puts on this demonstration, foolishly, the guy who asks for this demonstration doesn't even realize, and everybody else doesn't realize, that this cosmic cube basically brings up contracts to merge all of their corporation with the Cronus Corp. And he tells every single one of them, you guys will be happy about doing this merger with me. And guess what? Every single one of them are happy, and they sign the actual contract to go ahead and merge with who? Or the Cronus Corp. Yeah. The Mind Stone, man. It's the Cosmic Cube is something else, man. After this meeting that just happened, which is kind of wild when you think about it, you start to see Lucan just, excuse me, you start to see Lucan just fall to the ground, and he drops the cosmic cube. His right-hand man comes up to him and says, like, hey, dude, I don't think you should be using this cube that much, because, I mean, it's really taking an effect on you, and it could really have some harmful things happening to you. But then you turn over and see Lucan with this big-ass desk, and he lodges it at his homeboy's head and just beats the fuck out of him to the point where he just is damn near dead. And I mean, nobody still even arrests him. It's kind of like, and just moving forward. And as this is going along, Cap is just still like kind of bewildered about the whole entire situation with these files. And he goes up to Sharon Carter and says, like, look, I just don't think that he's in his, Rucky was never in his right mind. He was only used as the weapon. And we need to go ahead and save him. But Carter's sitting there like, nah, this motherfucker needs to be taken out. And part of the reason why she's thinking that is because he did take out Neil Tapper. He was part of it. So he's starting to think like, damn, you may actually have a point. I may need to take this nigga out. In the midst of this, he's getting ready to go ahead and take this, go and do what he has to do. But then all of a sudden he sees one of his boys, the Falcon. And so in the midst of Falcon coming up, he says, hey, Nick brought me over here, said that you might need a friend in this on-site situation. And rightfully so, he does. He needs somebody that can give him a little clarity. So Lucan is sitting in the hospital thinking to himself, like, damn, I really messed this up. I took out my close confidant, and he was really trying to give me the right things to do with this. He starts to ponder, like, hey, I really need to get this out of my hands because I'm not thinking in my right mind while I'm holding this thing. And he gives it to the most fucked up individual in this whole entire comic strip, the Winter Soldier, and tells him if anybody comes near it, take them out on sight. Meanwhile, the Winter Soldier is sitting there like, why would he give this to me? Probably just to go ahead and keep it away from his enemies. But I'm thinking, like, Lucan is a fucked up individual, just my thoughts. So Falcon and Cap are basically going back to Cap's house to go ahead and think about the whole entire situation. And now this cosmic cube is just basically just taking over everybody's train of thought. And so they sit there and say, like, hey, we need to find a way to get Bucky back. So Cap, Falcon, and Iron Man gets in and actually says, like, hey, we're going to go ahead and raid this whole entire aid fortress to go ahead and find out more information. So pretty much as they go teamed up together, the Avengers go ahead and whip everybody's ass in that warehouse, and eventually find one of AID's scientists. They bring them to him and say, hey, you guys need, where the hell can we find this cosmic cube? They actually have a device that can track down the cosmic cube, and with Tony Stark's information as well, his tech savviness as well, find out where the hell this cosmic cube is. So as they find out that the cube is actually on its way by jet to the Cronus Corp research facility, which is in West Virginia. Stark Industry just barely made it out of a buyout by the corporation to the point where it's like, hey, Iron Man can't be seen raiding the competition because it's going to be a major problem in the situation. So Iron Man, basically, Tony Stark says, hey, you guys got to do this on your own. I can't do this. So in the midst of this, Cap basically says, hey, we're going to have to, him and Falcon is going to have to take this whole entire thing out. And Agent 13 contacts them and says, hey, so where you guys at? They bring her up to speed. And in the midst of all of this, they're saying, look, I don't care if we don't have confirmation from S.H.I.E.L.D. or the government. I'm not going to be caught with my pants down like the last time. I'm going in. I'm going to take this motherfucker out. And Agent 13 says, you know what, let me scramble some information together so we can go ahead and meet up at the same place. So as Cap and Falcon get there, they are at the facility. They see that it's a jet that just pulled in. And because the Winter Soldier was told, if anybody comes near this to try to take this cosmic cube, take them out ASAP. So in the midst of all this, he has his rifle just scanning in, seeing like, okay, I got this shot. So he shoots right at Falcon, but he misses Falcon. And then as he's shooting at Falcon, it pretty much gives away the whole entire point to Captain America that his whereabouts is. So he throws his shield at him and he knocks him the fuck down. And then they start going after him to try to start this fight. So Captain goes ahead and gets down to the area where they're at, and there's a shitload of tunnels. So he has to go ahead and find them quick because he can't get lost in the midst of all this. So finally, he catches up to him, and as he catches up to him, Agent 13 comes with the rest of S.H.I.E.L.D., and they finally go through into the actual bunker and just start wrecking shop. And then they follow to where Steve finds Winter Soldier, and he just starts getting in a fight. They had this badass fight, basically, and he keeps calling him, and Captain America keeps calling Winter Soldier, Bucky, just remember me, come on, remember me. And he's just kicking his ass at the same time, but then it got to a point to where it just was like, you know what, fuck it. If you don't remember me, go ahead and take this shot, and just go ahead and shoot me, because you are Bucky. So then he shoots at him. Only thing is, as Agent 13 and Falcon comes in, he obviously misses. And with that being said, Steve goes ahead and hurls his shield off the ricochet off the wall, and then it hits Bucky in the back. And the cosmic cube falls out, and he falls to the ground. Captain America picks up the joint and says, remember who you are. And all of a sudden, Winter Soldier just falls down to the ground and just like, you should have just killed me. Because after that, he just gets all the information, every single thing, dealing with the when he got killed, dealing with the fact that he knew Captain America back in the day, dealing with the whole entire brainwashing maneuvers and all that other shit. Every single thing that's happened to him in this whole entire situation just comes running through his mind, and he just wishes he would have just died in the midst of all this. So with the last bit of what just happened, Bucky picks up the actual cosmic cube with his bionic arm and crushes it. And whatever power that was left in there, just like boom, all over the place, to the point to where it actually he disappeared. And the actual cosmic cube was just reduced to dust. So everybody except Cap thinks that he just killed himself. And he's like, nah, Bucky's a survivor. I know it, and he survived this. So all of a sudden, we see that Bucky is back at Fort Lehigh, where he first met Steve Rogers, Captain America. And he's just, all the past is just coming up, and he's riddled with guilt. Just really feels bad about this whole entire situation. Then we go back to Lucan Towers, and he's sitting there in the back of his mind, still having this conversation with this thing, with the talks in his head. Just saying that it was a mistake to just go ahead and give away the cosmic cube and everything. And he's just saying to himself like, yo, no, I'm glad that we got rid of it because it's cursed. And all of a sudden he looks into the window and sees a reflection of the Red Skull. Plot twist. So, and we find out that the Red Skull and Lucan are trapped in the same body, and the Red Skull is in the back of his mind, and he says, "This is what's going on for now." And that is the end of the Winter Soldier. God, that shit was amazing. That joke was dope as shit. Tell me guys what you thought about the comic. This is a dope series and everything. I was thoroughly impressed. This is one of my favorite ones right now. I got to give a shout out to my boys, Trey Proper and Rick, because they were the ones who put me on to this joint. This joint was amazing. And like always, like, share, subscribe, on all social media platforms. Guys, I almost forgot. I can't forget this. So we have a new sponsor, and this sponsor is FnX Fit. FnX Fit is a new product that we are working with, and they are a fitness group who has fitness apparel. They have pre, post, and during workout proteins that you could use. It's an amazing product. Mine is coming in the mail soon. Is on its way. So, like Rick said, it could go ahead and help you defeat your Brock Lesnar's of the world. So, but yeah, be sure to go ahead, check it out. The link is in the actual right at the bottom to go ahead and let you know more information about it. Till then, I shall see you guys next week. And we'll let you know as far as who's going, what's the next video is going to be on. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Herb's comic book journey. I love you guys. Thanks for the support. Peace.